Hey everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. I'm knocking off these little action needed signs that pop up every now and then. Today's talk is on commitment and the different levels and understandings and what it means in commitment in relation to metaphysics. And the person you have to thank for this talk is Rosie Navarra. She's one of our practitioners here at RE. She and I were talking yesterday because the times they are changing and we're all kind of struggling with how to get back on track, how we need to make our focus, what we should be doing to create our path as light workers, as human beings, as parents, as children. Commitment's a big part of it. Now, there's a lot of things about commitment we're going to talk about. One of them is that we all make them and we all fail at them. So understanding that, it's about understanding what it is that and why it is that we fail. Okay? So when we're doing this, I've talked to you about lower earth, middle earth, and higher earth people and how this kind of all plays out. Lower earth, they don't care if they're fulfilling their commitment to others because it's generally all about them. And these are the people who, are stumbling around in the world kind of like, okay, well, I promised you I would be at your bake sale and I would have 15 dozen cookies, and I was able to buy a dozen at the store. Sorry, it's the best I could do. And they're okay with that because to them, they accomplished it. They got you cookies, just not the amount that you wanted or needed or they committed to. They have 1,000,001 reasons why they can't fulfill those commitments. Middle earth care, and they might complete everything for the most part, but there are times that they do it a little bit haphazard or they're late. They have a little cringy consciousness about it. They have a little bit of struggle with it. And that's, again, okay for them to do. It's not an easy place for us to go to when we're working with this because nobody likes to talk about this subject. So if they don't like to talk about it, they certainly don't like to feel it, or they don't like to fail at it, and they don't like to be seen as somebody bad. And I want to help erase all this bad and let the onus be your guide of what you put on you. So the high earth, it devastates them when they don't fulfill a commitment. If something comes up, they will do everything within their realm. They'll get up an hour early, they'll stay an hour late. They will do whatever it takes to fulfill the obligations that they have made, the commitments they have made, and they will do whatever it takes to stand by their word. Commitments are that agreement, an agreement to accomplish. Well, in metaphysics, we made a lot of agreements. We made a lot of commitments. And the biggest one was we came here, we committed to reincarnate, to learn our lessons, to grow, and do the spiritual work to help others grow. Now, it's hard because, like I said, people don't like to talk about commitment because it brings their guilty conscience up and their cringy moments of, God, I remember when I said I would do this and I screwed up and I failed. I don't want anybody to think that this is about making those cringy moments of failure. I want you to understand that you made the biggest commitment possible by reincarnating. And you're very valuable, is very much a part of the world community. Everything that you do contributes to the energy of Earth and the level of awareness. So by committing to incarnate at this time, you kick ass. You guys are doing really good. We all struggle. Absolutely. We all struggle with how that manages and how that looks. We all struggle at the different levels of awareness and what it takes to get there. Sometimes the person who is from high earth bottoms out in low earth. And sometimes people in middle earth are playing all three earths simultaneously. It's that we're here and we showed up. We're still living. We're still living. So that means that because you're still living, that commitment that you made is still ongoing, and you have so much in the way of opportunity to make a power statement and help that move through, to make your work matter, to make life happier for everyone. And sometimes we don't even realize that it's just a smile to change the trajectory of somebody's really bad day. So the fact that you made that commitment and you haven't given up, yay, so many props. The other thing about commitment, that when we were born, not only did we commit to all of that I talked about, we forgot that we also made a commitment to honor Earth, to honor other spirits of Earth, and our role in caring for the Earth. This means our commitment to the spirits of the vegetable plant world, the spirits of earth, of rock, of sky, of water. There is spirit in everything. And the minute that we forget that that spirit is such a powerful opportunity for us to blend and love and commit to taking care of, then we start to isolate ourselves. And in that isolation, we start kind of screwing up on our other commitments. The hardest thing that when we have to do this commitment to Earth and to the other people is to know how valuable we are. And that's a lot of why we fail at our commitments. We don't realize that when we don't come in for our other half of the adult relationship, for our bargain and what we committed to, we're disrupting the flow of energy for other people. And that's kind of rough. It's a, I'll put it this way. I have seen people throw stuff on the ground. Okay, they might be eating a sandwich and they throw it on the ground. They don't like it. That's not being a commitment to Earth. That's not being very committed to our spiritual beings that take care of Earth and take care of us and let us live in this planet. It's not being very committed to the people who are walking behind that might slip and fall on that. So the level of awareness that takes by throwing that sandwich on the ground, it says something about who we are and what we may be experiencing. It's like, I don't care, let somebody fall, let the birds eat it, let this, let that. We're not really worrying about the ramifications. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about people from lower Earth. And it's hard and it's very difficult for all of us to get through. It's a commitment that we don't even realize has ramifications on other people or other beings that share this planet with us. So many times people's ego gets in the way of their commitment because they're worried about how they look. They worry about the things that, how much money they make. All of that comes before any other commitment. They make that commitment. The relationships that we have with each other, we're supposed to be showing up and doing the light thing, not the right thing, the light thing, because sometimes showing up and doing the light work may seem awfully wrong with somebody else. So our relationships, we have to show up to be the other half of the adult relationship. And sometimes we have to show up to be the other half of the family relationship, of the intimate relationship. If we don't show up, we're failing at our commitment. And if we show up and we complete the task, it takes all the pressure off of us so that we're not angry at ourselves, and we're not home feeling sorry for ourselves, or we're not at work cursing the fact that we didn't get everything done. So I'm going to give you little examples of some things about lower earth so that we kind of get a little clearer sense of what that is, because so many people struggle with how in the heck do they go in and determine where they're at. Well, first off, I'm going to caution you, don't worry about where you're at. It's not worth worrying about where you're at unless you don't want to be the person that you're showing up to be. So lower earth is a commitment to self. Let's say, they're just worried about going to work. They made the commitment, they go to work. They might go late, but they go to work. They make a commitment to their own creature comfort. Okay, the kids might need shoes, but I got to have a coat to wear to work. They might make a commitment to their family. Family comes before all other things. And they commit to finding love, sometimes repeatedly, because love doesn't always work out in the way they think, because they're getting a partner who's showing them the mirror of their level of commitment to that relationship. So the addictive patterns start to come through here, where their commitment to drama takes over, or their commitment to narcissistic behaviors comes through, or their victimhood comes through. Like I said, this isn't a judgment thing. This is where we can all flow through each of the different levels. So this isn't saying any one person is higher or better or anything else, because sometimes we can be a victim when we're so distraught, so overrun, so overwhelmed that we can't continue doing what we think we can do, and then we have to go take a break, hit reset, and come back at it. So you can see if somebody's levels of integrity and loyalty, though, are always on the same things: the drama, the codependency, the narcissistic behaviors, the victimization. If their commitment is to creature comforts and showing up that they have the brand new car. I heard it said the other day, it was really awesome. This guy asked a bunch of people a question. He said, you want that BMW or that Mercedes. Do you want it because you like the car, or do you like the car because what other people think of you? Now, the guy in the audience goes, well, yeah, it's probably more like that. And he goes, well, you're spending $400 and some a month to show people your car so they can think well of you, when a car for $200 a month could accomplish the same thing, and you could give $200 a month to charity if you have that much money to throw around, and you've made a commitment to preserving a charity that's doing good. Wow, that's a powerful statement. That kind of blew my mind. I was like, wow, because I've never really kind of understood the need for name brand. Even though I did manage, I got a purse. It's a name brand purse, but I got it. I know this is going to be terrible. It was a $175 purse I got for $20 at the store, at the person's store, or whatever the designer store. $20. That was cheaper than I could have gotten at Target. So guess what? Cheap purse, small. Takes the stress off my back. My commitment was to my health, and one of the issues I've been struggling with is neck issues. So there you go. I bought a $20 purse that was like a $175, $200 purse. I wouldn't have ever turned around and thought I would do. But again, the levels of integrity that we work with, the levels of awareness that we struggle with, are all shown on repeat. We can slide down, we can slide up. Where are you at consistently, and what changes do you want to make? So people of Middle Earth, they kind of walk between Earths. Sometimes they're way up here on high earth and they're doing their work and they're doing their job, and then something happens in friends, family, drama, and they go right back down into low earth. It's really hard for people of middle earth to hold the middle ground. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm saying is that to hold space in middle ground is a very important role because it stabilizes the energy. And the middle is always the most action-packed and powerful statement. So sometimes they're able to commit to the higher learning, but they can't always practice what they've learned because they can't hold that vibration of what they learned because they haven't fully committed to that higher vibration. And that's really rough for them. People of Middle Earth, I think, kind of have it worse in some aspects because they know what they have to do and they don't always want to do it because it's exhausting. It's truly exhausting to fulfill our commitments. Somebody said, well, then don't make so many. Well, it depends on what you're here for and what your spirit is here for and what you've agreed to and what your destiny says as to maybe why you make so many commitments. They oftentimes, people of Middle Earth do this kind of work, do some light work. They might be energy healers. They might be consultants. They might be work in the medical profession. They're usually in the helping profession where they help people. They will still put mortal life issues first over learning spiritually. And that's because they feel like if I'm going to get a job done, if I'm going to have time to meditate, then I've got to get all my commitments done so that I have the mind free to meditate. Instead of going, well, if I meditate first, then my mind will be clear in order to accomplish my commitments with a clearer mind and much more value to the actual job that they're doing. They struggle between choosing to fulfill a commitment and their own comforts and needs and the needs of their family and friends. It's a real struggle. And it's not that they're not being, because they feel like they've made the commitment to family. So the family has got to be fulfilled, or else they feel like they can't make the commitment to the higher levels of spiritual unfoldment. And that's a testament to their levels of loyalty and integrity. They're not just doing it for ego or so people think they're pretty or smart or handsome or, really strong individuals that can conquer all. They're not running around telling people what they should do or not do. They're trying to help people do what they got to do. And that's very commendable. But from a metaphysics standpoint, this is a very dangerous path that we walk because we end up, at least the people working from lower earth for the most part, they're doing what they're expected to do. Okay, so they will make sure that they make enough money to provide their creature comforts. They will make sure that they get their creature comforts at all costs, and that's understandable because that's where they're coming from. But the person in Middle Earth struggles because they'll start paying everybody else's karma. They will say yes to everything, in which they make sure that their family is cared for, and they will forego their own spiritual enlightenment, their own spiritual progression, their own commitments, so that they make sure everybody else is taken care of. And this is dangerous because you're taking away if you're this person, you're taking away that person's opportunity in which to grow spiritually by learning how to do it themselves, by taking care of their own business and not relying so heavily on the person that they do, because sometimes resentment can build in that arena, and frustration and conflict, because you're going in and you're saying, okay, well, I'm going to commit to making sure you get your rent paid. And the person goes, great, I'm going to make sure, she's going to make sure I'm paying my rent. So if nothing else, she's going to put the money there. Maybe I might have to pay back, but maybe I don't. And I can go out and buy that cool new PlayStation, whatever number we're up to, 4, 5, 6, whatever. And I get to satisfy my needs. So Middle Earth often serves Lower Earth commitments. And that's a dangerous place because that makes them regress, and they're putting the onus on other people to fulfill their obligations. High Earth, well, that's a whole nother level. They commit, when they incarnate, usually these people commit to bringing in the highest information that they possibly can forward, because they know that the light that hits them will shine on others and help others come into the light. So they make this insane amount of loyalty and integrity, which can absolutely devastate their health. This is why you find so many mediums, psychics, teachers, healers crashing and burning in their health factor, is because they have put out so much energy to do this work, and they've made such a huge commitment that their body suffers. And they understand that it's going to. We all know the rules. If they hadn't heard this before, if you haven't heard this before, know that people who are really working to bring forth the light are often the ones that have illness and complications, because they have to stay grounded, but they're paying a price by their level of commitment, their level of integrity and loyalty. And sometimes they go overboard, and there's not much we can do about that other than love them and try to take some of the load, and understanding, giving them that commitment, that love, that power. So they do understand the full ramifications of failure should they fail to complete their commitment. There is a level of karmic retribution, if you will, or karmic balancing that has to be done when we fail our commitments. If I don't show up to work here, who's going to open the door? So I leave all my practitioners sitting outside the center, and to heck with everybody who wants to come to the center, because I haven't showed up. I haven't done this. I haven't done much of anything. So with that being said, it is a struggle for all of the things that we do that people are dependent on each other for. If I don't put gas in my car and I expect to drive to my daughter's and I don't fill up, I have less than, I have 1/8 of a tank of gas, I put my granddaughter in the car, I failed her because I failed to complete the commitment. Because now we're stuck on the highway waiting for somebody else to bring me gas, because I failed in taking care of the basic steps needed to complete the task I was supposed to complete. So when we do that, we're putting stress needlessly on other people. And oftentimes those people are our friends and family. And the reason that we're putting that much stress is because they don't like to see where we're struggling. So we need to reevaluate where we're at, oftentimes, to make sure that we are not putting that out there for them to have to deal with. Now, going back to people of high earth, they usually see conspiracies. They see people for who they are. They try to accept them. They don't suffer fools gladly. And in other words, after a while of the failure of others to step up, they're like, okay, well, you're on your own. And they're okay They will be okay because they know that that person has their own battles to go through. People of high earth, when it comes to commitment, understand that commitment's one of the toughest of the deadly sins. I know I said deadly sins, but I don't really mean it that way. They look at life as an opportunity to grow. So for everything that they do, they're looking for the growth in it, the answer in it. They don't ask the price they have to pay to progress. They do what they have to do to get the job done. And they will do just about everything. Now I'm going to qualify this. They will not offer, if they have to cancel, they will do so only for the simple fact that to do anything more at that point would be detrimental and wasteful of your time and space. So they struggle with this whole concept of, okay, I'm not feeling like I should open to spirit to give this reading, but to do so would be to take unfair advantage of the person who is wanting to pay me good money for a good reading. Sometimes it's better if they postpone that, so they do, and it eats at them. The other end of it is that we think and we struggle on how that looks when they do cancel on us. Sometimes we take it personal, and we don't realize that they're doing the best that they can do, and they need our support. So people of high earth are willing to sacrifice all, but we shouldn't be asking them to. Some other little sidebars here. Most light workers think that they're operating on high earth, okay? Because they think that because they're a light worker, they're in their best possible form. They can perform miraculous feats. But the people who are truly here on this level don't think they are. Okay? They don't even worry about where they're at. They know that commitment, integrity, loyalty, forthright honesty, truth, all matter much, much more than where they're ranked. Now, after I said that, I can tell you that a few people, when they listen to this, go, oh, well, maybe I'm not of higher earth. Maybe I'm down here at lower earth. Oops, maybe I'm in middle earth. They will jump all over the place, reevaluating where they're at. High earth people don't care. They're in it for the long haul. They know that they're here to complete the task that they came here to complete, and they're working for the global world. They're working to bring light globally. They're not working to fill their pocketbook. That's nice. Don't get me wrong. We can't work for free, any of us, no matter what earth you're from. But they also aren't worried about how they look, and they're also not willing to forgo their commitments that they've made to other people in order to gain for personal gain. Others, it's really hard because others won't try to evaluate where they're at. They won't try to work at being better people because their ego will tell them that they are already so powerful that they're ready to ascend. They're such high earth people that they're wide open to possibilities. Well, being wide open to possibilities has nothing to do with your level of awareness, your level of progression. Your spirit will know many more things, and you'll do things just naturally wherever you're at. So again, going into this, understand that this isn't about judgment or being harsh on yourself or thinking that I'm talking Debbie Downer. Rosie was really interested in what it means in metaphysics in a commitment level. When we fail our commitments from a metaphysical standpoint, we have to bring balance to that. And sometimes that balance is making it up to people that we failed to complete the commitments to on different levels. Sometimes it means that we have to redo a scenario over and over and over again until we understand the level of commitment that it takes to attain the level of awareness that we want. Sometimes it's about being in our honor and doing our meditation and our commitment to ourself, because that's the key. Committing to self, not to what the family needs that day, but following the commitments that we make to our spiritual self. My spirit was brought back into Albuquerque for a reason. For me to fail at that because of something that I failed to complete or commit to or complete that commitment, the onus is on me. The failure can still happen in our lives when the people who were supposed to step up and commit to helping us and being with us and doing things with us, when they fail, they either get replaced or people don't show up. And why I'm saying this is because there was a huge question I had when I first started studying metaphysics, and I asked Paul, who was my mentor at the time, I said, what happens, because a lot of the people in the church showed up to Albuquerque, but the church, a lot of people in the church, the people who were able to train people in their gifts, they left the church before the people could get in. So they had nowhere to go for training and for substance. So I was asking him, what happens when that happens? He said, the person who showed up is never held accountable. They are not the person who has to make up, or situations will turn it around where they can complete their destiny, their path, to the best of their ability. So we reevaluate, and this reevaluation takes place, and we're coming into it. I'm going to talk next week about Halloween review and what we're doing there, and why it's important to start looking at what we want to create from Halloween 2021 to 2022. But when we show up and other people don't, the onus is not on us. It is on the people who didn't show up. That's their problem. They can regress, they can progress, they can do whatever they need to do. They're the ones that have to work that out there. So there's no judgment from us. Never judge somebody whose failure to show up unless it's a repeat behavior. When it's repeatedly, you need to ask the spirit replace them. You need to ask that commitment show up, and we need to make that commitment for our own work. You know, when we go to work and we go, hey, I got to make a commitment to have a decent car to drive to work. Okay, so that means sometimes I have to get the oil changed. Sometimes I have to put gas in it. There's little steps that we do to make sure that we can show up and do the work that we do. So make a list of the things that you're doing that you would like to accomplish and what commitment you need to make in order to get there. So for other people, on the other hand of that, look at people around you, their actions, and how quickly excuses may come to them, that it's okay for them to fail, and put that onus on you. Because those people, I want you to shirk off. Get rid of them. They're not there doing their work, and they're hindrances to you. Your spiritual progression, your light, is very much needed. And we here in this world need every possible human being to make that connection to the light, to bring forth higher levels of awareness. And the more there are on our side doing this, the less fear we have to contend with and the easier our work is, and the more we learn. And so if you grow your light and I grow my light, we can get together and we can make one good spotlight, move it around the city, shine it around, bring in other light, and our knowledge will increase, our truth will increase, and the ease of living will increase. The levels of sickness decreases. The levels of confusion and drama and pain and sorrow decreases, because we start to understand life on a whole different level. So I hope you enjoyed my talk on commitment. Like I said, it's a tough subject. Nobody wants to hear it because everybody feels like it's a lecture made specifically to them so that they feel guilty. It's not meant that way. If you feel guilty, it's really time for you to reevaluate what's going on, where you're at. It's really there because commitment is one of our highest spiritual tools. And I'm going to go back to the beginning of the talk. Remember, you already made the biggest commitment. You committed to reincarnate at this time, to be a light, to be there for others, to be a part of the earth cycle, to be a part of the knowledge of earth and the truth that's forthcoming. Let's all get together and make that well worth our effort so we bring it in. And the next life or on another life, we have it a whole lot easier. From my heart to all of yours, mwah, love you. Talk to you later. Bye now.